Number 15. The name Canada. It's not what you think, unless you think village, seriously, a village. Alright, settle in buttercups, because we're kicking off this Canadian adventure with a bombshell so utterly ridiculous, it sets the tone for the entire country. You're looking at Canada, the world's second largest nation, a sprawling expanse of majestic wilderness, vibrant cities, and enough polites to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So, what grand, awe-inspiring name would you expect for such a behemoth? Something like Maple Majesty Dominion? The Great White North Empire? Or perhaps, Land of the Looney and the Legendary Lumberjacks? Nope. Try Village. That's right, folks, the very name of this colossal country, this titan of tundra and timber, translates to village. It's like naming the entire United States the cul-de-sac of awesome, or calling China the really big neighborhood. Mind-blowing, isn't it? And the story behind this epic misnomer is a hilarious historical misunderstanding that belongs in a comedy sketch, not a geography textbook. Let's rewind the clock to a time before smartphones, before GPS, before even decent coffee. We're talking 1535. Enter Jacques Cartier, a dashing, probably we assume French explorer, cruising the St. Lawrence River near what we now affectionately call Quebec. Picture him, probably wearing a ridiculously feathered hat, trying to make sense of this new, vast, wild landscape. He encounters the local Iroquoian inhabitants, who, being perfectly reasonable people, are chatting amongst themselves, casually using the term Canada to refer to their specific, localized settlement. You know, their humble abode, their little slice of paradise, their village. Now, here's where the cosmic comedy really kicks in. Cartier, likely suffering from a combination of jet lag, or sail lag rather, cultural disconnect, and a severe lack of sleep, hears Canada, and, in a moment that would forever define a nation, mistakenly assumes they're referring to the entire ginormous region. It's the ultimate lost in translation moment, but instead of ordering squid when he wanted bread, he accidentally named a country. Imagine the scene. Ah yes, this vast, unexplored wilderness, stretching to the horizons, populated by diverse peoples and endless forests. You call it village? Excellent. I shall dub this entire magnificent territory Canada. The Iroquoisians probably just blinked, shrugged, and went back to their daily lives, perhaps wondering if this Frenchman was a few canoes short of a full fleet. It's the historical equivalent of someone visiting New York City, hearing the word Manhattan, and then declaring, "Behold, I shall henceforth name the entire United States the Big Apple." Or landing in London, hearing Charing Cross, and deciding the entirety of England shall be known as the train station. And yet, against all odds, against all geographical logic, against the sheer comedic absurdity of it all, the name stuck. By the 1600s, European cartographers, those meticulous mapmakers, were merrily slapping Canada all over their charts for this vast, frosty wilderness. It's like the ultimate travel gaffe that just became permanent. A delightful bureaucratic blunder solidified into national identity. Here's an interesting tidbit to chew on. If Cartier had simply been asking for directions to the next settlement, or perhaps inquired about the local Starbucks equivalent, we might have ended up with a country named Stadacona, which was the actual name of the Iroquois settlement he was at. Imagine the patriotic anthems, "O Canada, our home and Stadacona land." It just doesn't have the same ring, does it? Canada apparently had a better flow, a more village-wide vibe perhaps. So the next time you're sipping on a perfectly brewed Tim Hortons coffee, or marveling at the vastness of the Canadian Rockies, spare a thought for Monsieur Cartier. He's the reason behind this rather peculiar, yet utterly charming, naming situation. It's a permanent monument to a magnificent misunderstanding. A country born from a linguistic oopsie, and honestly, that just makes it all the more endearing. It's almost as if Canada started its national story with a humble shrug and a self-deprecating laugh, perfectly foreshadowing the national character. It reminds us that even grand nations can have the most unassuming origins, built on simple words, misheard and magnified. But wait, if you thought Canada's name was a wild ride, just you wait until we dive into their next obsession, water. And not just a few puddles, folks. We're talking about so much H2O, it's practically hoarding the world's supply. Get ready to feel inadequate about your local pond, because Canada's liquid assets are about to blow your mind. Number 14. Canada has over 3 million lakes. It's not fair, honestly. Who allowed this? Alright, buckle up, because if you thought Canada's name was a statistical anomaly, prepare to have your mind flooded with the sheer, unapologetic audacity of this next fact. Who, and I repeat, who allowed Canada to monopolize all the lakes? This country, this glorious, polite, maple syrup-loving nation, has a whopping eye-popping, frankly unfair 3 million lakes. Yes, you read that correctly. 3 million lakes. To put that into perspective, if Canada's lakes decided to join forces, form a super lake, and then engage in an aquatic hostile takeover, they would collectively cover an area larger than the entire country of Turkey. It's so vast, so incredibly saturated with fresh water, that at some point, scientists just threw up their hands, muttered something about too many to count, and probably went for a beer. It's like trying to keep track of popcorn kernels at a movie marathon. Utterly pointless, yet undeniably impressive. Now, these aren't just glorified puddles or glorified swimming holes. These are serious bodies of water, many of them stretching for miles, carving out the landscape, and playing a crucial role in Canada's very existence. If these 3 million lakes suddenly decided to pack up their bags and disappear, Canada would shrink from being the world's second-largest nation to a paltry fourth. That's right, the US and China would sneak past like competitive siblings vying for the last piece of pizza, leaving Canada looking considerably less expansive. The geological impact is immense. These lakes are remnants of ancient glaciers, their massive weight carving out depressions that then filled with meltwater, leaving behind a liquid legacy unlike anywhere else on Earth. It's a natural marvel that profoundly shapes the country's climate, ecosystems, and even its economy. For you intrepid travelers dreaming of your next Canadian adventure, this lake-filled wonderland comes with its own perks and peculiarities. Planning to rely solely on GPS near Hudson Bay? Think again. The sheer volume of water and the unique geological formations can mess with satellite signals like dodgy Wi-Fi on a rainy Tuesday. So maybe dust off that old paper map, or just embrace getting delightfully lost. More importantly, make sure you pack some industrial-strength military-grade bug spray because the mosquitoes around some of these lakes are not fans of personal boundaries. They're like tiny winged vampires, and they consider you a walking, talking, all-you-can-eat buffet. You've been warned. But then, there are the breathtaking gems. Take Lake Louise in Alberta, for instance. Its water is so unbelievably blue and clear, you'd swear it's been photoshopped. Forget tropical beaches with their salty sandy annoyances. This is the real deal, a pristine, almost iridescent turquoise that has to be seen to be believed. It's a testament to the unparalleled natural beauty that Canada possesses, a beauty often defined by these vast, shimmering expanses of fresh water. And here's the truly mind-blowing part. Some of these lakes are so clean, so pure, that you can literally cup your hands and drink the water directly. Try that in, say, a public fountain in New York City, or even a river in many developed nations. It's a stark reminder of the untouched wilderness and environmental richness that Canada still preserves. It's like Canada didn't just bring a 2-layer dip to the planet's potluck. It showed up with a 3 million layer dip, demanding seconds, thirds, and probably a doggy bag. This incredible abundance of fresh water isn't just a geographical feature. It's a vital resource, a playground for nature lovers, and a constant source of awe. It shapes the country's climate, supports a staggering array of wildlife, and provides hydroelectric power that helps fuel the nation. From the Great Lakes in the south to the countless unnamed puddles in the Arctic, these watery expanses are a defining characteristic of the Canadian landscape, a liquid testament to its vastness and natural grandeur. It truly makes you wonder if there's a secret Canadian decree somewhere, signed in invisible ink stating, "All lakes henceforth shall belong to us." Sorry, world. But if you thought Canada was just about endless water, get ready, because their next superpower involves something far more viscous than H2O, and it's guarded with a ferocity that would make Fort Knox blush. You won't believe what they're protecting, and trust us, it's sweeter than you can imagine. Number 13. Natural resource superpower. Move over, billionaires. Canada's got the goods. Alright, let's clear the air and set the record straight about Canada. Forget the polites, the adorable moose, and the unending winter banter for a moment. Because beneath that veneer of geniality lies a raw, unadulterated truth. Canada is an absolute powerhouse of natural resources. We're talking about a country so brimming with inherent wealth, so naturally stacked with assets, that it could give even the most financially successful individuals, or even entire national economies, a serious run for their money. This isn't just a player in the global resource game, it's a heavyweight champion, flexing muscles made of oil, timber, and enough minerals to build 1,000 skyscrapers. First, let's talk about the black gold, oil. Canada isn't just participating in the global oil industry, it's practically dictating terms. It boasts the third-largest proven oil reserves globally, a staggering 169 billion barrels nestled deep beneath its vast prairies, primarily in Alberta's oil sands. To truly grasp the sheer volume of that, imagine lining up all those barrels end to end. You'd have a very, very tedious task, stretching around the Earth not once, not twice, but multiple times over. It's an almost unfathomable quantity, a liquid treasure trove that plays a critical role in global energy markets. The technology to extract this oil is complex and energy-intensive, but the sheer scale of the resource makes it a constant, powerful force in Canada's economy and international standing. It's not just a reserve, it's a strategic asset that commands attention and shapes geopolitical conversations. But wait, there's more. Canada's woodlands are so expansive, so ridiculously vast, that they cover an area of approximately 4.9 million square kilometers. To put that into terms that are easier to grasp, Imagine giving every single person on the planet, all 8 billion of us, their very own personal forest, each the size of a football field. That's how much forest Canada has. It's a living, breathing green ocean, a critical carbon sink, and a source of immense biodiversity. These forests aren't just pretty to look at, they're the backbone of a thriving timber industry, providing a steady supply of materials for everything from the foundational lumber of construction to essential paper products. Yes, including your cherished toilet paper, and even those trendy, ethically sourced furniture pieces that populate your Instagram feed. The sheer scale of this renewable resource is staggering, making Canada a global leader in sustainable forestry and a critical player in the world's lumber supply chain. The economic implications of this natural wealth are nothing short of monumental. The oil revenue alone is enough to fund the development of entire new cities, build state-of-the-art infrastructure, and contribute significantly to social programs. The timber industry, alongside mining for precious metals like gold, diamonds, and uranium, Canada is a major producer of all three, provides consistent employment for hundreds of thousands of people and generates billions in export revenue. These resources aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, they are the bedrock upon which much of the Canadian economy is built, influencing everything from trade policies to international relations. If you're planning a trip and want to witness this natural power firsthand, Alberta is the place to be if you're curious about the energy sector. You'll find oil derricks working tirelessly, an industrial ballet extracting the nation's liquid gold from the earth. And in British Columbia, the forests are so towering, so ancient, and so dense that they seem to have their own distinct zip codes, their own microclimates. Hiking through them feels like stepping into another world, a testament to the raw, untamed beauty that still exists in abundance. This isn't just about economic might, it's about a profound connection to the land, a responsibility to manage these immense resources, and a strategic advantage in a resource-hungry world. Canada isn't just nice, it's incredibly, profoundly, and naturally rich. It's a powerful paradox, a polite giant sitting on a gold mine. But if you thought Canada was just about oil and trees, prepare to have your mind blown, and your pancakes drenched. Because next, we're uncovering Canada's most delicious and fiercely guarded national secret, a sweet, sticky reserve that's tighter than Fort Knox. You do not want to miss this, especially if you have a sweet tooth and an appreciation for international intrigue. Number 12. Canada's sweetest national security secret, the maple syrup mafia. Alright, listen up, all you pancake enthusiasts, waffle warriors, and anyone who appreciates a good drizzle of liquid gold, because Canada has more to offer than just polite smiles and ridiculously cold winters. Did you know that deep within the mystical sprawling forests of Quebec, there lies a highly secure, top-secret facility that holds the majority of the world's finest maple syrup? I'm not talking about your everyday grocery store bottle, folks. We are discussing the Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve, a place so vital to Canada's very soul, and its economy, that it boasts 24-hour armed surveillance to protect its precious contents, which are valued at well over $500 million. Yes, you heard that right, $500 million worth of pure, unadulterated maple goodness, guarded like a national treasure. Because in Canada, syrup isn't just breakfast, it's a matter of national security. This isn't the kind of syrup you casually pour over your weekend pancakes, oblivious to its geopolitical significance. We're discussing a monumental stockpile of maple goodness that acts as a buffer for the entire global syrup market. Imagine a world without maple syrup, a dark, dismal place where pancakes weep and waffles despair. This reserve prevents such a catastrophe. When there's a dip in production due to a poor harvest, or a sudden unexpected surge in global demand, perhaps a new viral pancake challenge, they draw from these reserves to stabilize prices and ensure the world doesn't descend into a sticky, syrupless chaos. It's essentially like having a breakfast food version of OPEC, but instead of oil, they control the flow of the sweet stuff. This strategic control gives Canada an undeniable leverage in the international food market, proving that sometimes, the most powerful commodity isn't black gold, but golden liquid. And it's not all sunshine, sugar bushes, and sweet serenity either. This reserve has seen its share of drama, proving that even in the world of maple syrup, there can be intrigue and high-stakes crime. In February 2012, the world was shocked by a heist that even put Hollywood to shame, making Ocean's 11 look like a kid's picnic. Thieves, with a cunning that rivaled the best fictional masterminds, managed to steal a whopping $18 million worth of maple syrup from the reserve. The audacious act, dubbed the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist, made international headlines. The stolen syrup was later discovered being sold illegally on the black market, proving that some people take their love for syrup to a whole new, criminally delicious level. It highlighted just how valuable this seemingly innocuous product truly is, elevating it from a breakfast condiment to a commodity worth stealing on an industrial scale. The global outcry and subsequent recovery efforts were immense, a testament to the syrup's importance. If you're ever in Quebec during sugaring off-season, typically early spring when the sap starts flowing, make sure to visit a local sugar shack. This is when the maple trees are tapped, and the air is filled with a heavenly intoxicating scent of fresh sap being boiled down into glorious syrup. You can sample freshly made taffy on snow, learn about the traditional syrup-making process, and generally immerse yourself in the rich cultural heritage surrounding this industry. But remember, they take syrup security very, very seriously here, so don't get any ideas about sneaking a taste from a commercial barrel. You might find yourself facing more than just a polite warning. You could be staring down the barrel of a maple syrup-fueled security guard. It's a testament to Canada's unique priorities. While other nations might protect gold or state secrets with such fervor, Canada reserves its highest security for the very essence of its national identity: pure, sweet maple syrup. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most unexpected things can hold the greatest value and trigger the most surprising global dramas. Now, if you thought a syrup heist was wild, prepare to have your mind blown by a Canadian town where the locals are literally bigger, furrier, and infinitely more dangerous than your average grizzly. Get ready for a destination where Halloween requires armed escorts, and your neighbor might just be a hungry polar bear. This is not for the faint of heart, or those who forget their industrial-strength bug spray. Number 11. Churchill, where polar bears are the bosses, and you're just visiting their kingdom. Alright folks, if you thought a country naming itself Village, or guarding $500 million in maple syrup was quirky, prepare for a destination that redefines local wildlife. Forget quaint small towns where the biggest threat is a grumpy squirrel or a rogue pigeon. Welcome to Churchill, Manitoba, a place where the local residents aren't just people, they're polar bears. Yes, you heard that correctly. This isn't some theme park gimmick or a cleverly photoshopped travel brochure. This is real life, and it's exhilaratingly, terrifyingly true. Imagine a population ratio that makes you do a double take, approximately 1,600 polar bears to a mere 900 human inhabitants. Let that sink in. The odds of you running into a furry 1,000-pound apex predator, a creature perfectly evolved to survive in the brutal Arctic, with claws like grappling hooks and a bite force that could crush a bowling ball, are statistically twice as high as meeting your next-door neighbor. This isn't just for show. Churchill takes its self-proclaimed title as the polar bear capital of the world, with a deadly, almost absurd seriousness. The entire town literally functions with polar bears in mind, a testament to living in harmony, or at least, cautious coexistence, with the planet's largest land carnivores. Life in Churchill is a masterclass in unique adaptations. For instance, cars are often left unlocked for quick getaways. Why? Because if you suddenly find yourself face-to-face with a curious or hungry polar bear, fumbling for your keys isn't an option. You need to hop in and drive off immediately. No time for pleasantries. No time for admiring their majestic beauty from too close a distance. The threat is real, and the protocols are ingrained. They even have a real-life polar bear jail, or more accurately, the polar bear holding facility. These aren't just naughty bears. These are bears that have ventured too close to town, posing a risk. They're temporarily detained, sometimes tranquilized, and then, after a period of rehabilitation, which mostly involves being hungry and bored, they're airlifted or transported far away from human settlements, hoping they've learned their lesson about urban foraging. It's a remarkable system that prioritizes both human safety and bear conservation. And then there's Halloween. Forget about trick-or-treating with a flimsy plastic pumpkin. In Churchill, Halloween requires armed escorts for children. That's right, parents and designated guardians, often armed with shotguns, loaded with cracker shells, meant to scare rather than harm, patrol the streets alongside the kids, ensuring that the only monsters they encounter are the ones in costumes, not the ones with a keen sense of smell for sugary treats or small children. Apparently, polar bears don't respect the sanctity of a king-size Snickers bar or the innocence of a ghost costume. It's a vivid illustration of how deeply integrated these magnificent, yet dangerous creatures are into the fabric of daily life in Churchill. For tourists, this unique environment necessitates specialized gear and a healthy dose of respect for nature's raw power. Forget your average tourist vehicles. Here, you ride in custom-built, monster truck-like tundra buggies that look like they could tackle a zombie apocalypse or, more realistically, a particularly grumpy polar bear. These elevated, reinforced vehicles allow visitors to observe the bears safely from a distance, without disturbing their natural behavior. The local coffee shop might have more bear visits, or at least bear-induced lockdowns, than actual customers on some days. And yes, there's an annual polar bear swim, a charity event where brave or crazy locals take a dip in the icy waters. But it happens when the bears are conveniently out of town, probably hunting seals or just chilling elsewhere. Smart move, Churchill, smart move. If you plan to visit, October and November are the prime months. This is when the polar bears congregate along the shores, waiting for Hudson Bay to freeze over so they can return to their primary hunting grounds on the sea ice. It's a breathtaking spectacle, a convergence of magnificent predators against a backdrop of stark Arctic beauty. But remember, these are the Arctic's top predators, masters of their domain. That seemingly friendly bear waving at you, they don't really wave, but you get the idea, isn't being cute, it's likely sizing you up for dinner. Maintain your distance, heed your guides, and appreciate these incredible animals from the safety of your tundra buggy. So, would you feel comfortable walking the streets of Churchill knowing a polar bear could be right around the corner? Or is experiencing this unique Canadian adventure something you prefer to do from the cozy, undeniably bear-free safety of your computer screen? Let us know what you think in the comments section. It's a town that truly exemplifies living on the edge, where nature's majesty and raw power are a daily breathtaking reality. Speaking of unusual conflicts, if you thought two countries fighting over a piece of land was intense, imagine a decades-long, hilariously polite standoff decided not by bullets, but by booze. Get ready for the most Canadian war ever fought, a diplomatic saga so charmingly absurd, it belongs in a museum, preferably one with a fully stocked bar. Number 10. The Whiskey War, when Canada and Denmark fought over a rock using booze, the nicest war ever. Alright, history buffs and connoisseurs of international absurdity, prepare yourselves for the most Canadian war story you'll ever hear, a conflict so polite, so charmingly preposterous, so utterly devoid of violence, that it could only involve Canada. Picture this, two nations, renowned globally for their unwavering peacefulness and mutual respect, Canada and Denmark, engaged in a decades-long war over a tiny, uninhabited, desolate rock in the high Arctic. The battleground? Hans Island, a barren 1.3 square kilometer, 0.5 square miles chunk of rock, strategically located between Greenland, a Danish autonomous territory, and Canada's Ellesmere Island. And their weapons of choice? Bottles of fine liquor and hilariously cheeky notes. Forget missiles and trench warfare, this was diplomacy by dram. This uniquely Canadian and Danish conflict began innocently enough in 1984. A Danish minister, perhaps feeling particularly bold after a hearty Danish pastry, visited Hans Island. In a move that would inadvertently spark 38 years of delightful absurdity, he planted his country's flag firmly on the rocky terrain and, as a true gentleman of the Arctic, left behind a bottle of potent schnapps. The bottle reportedly came with a cheeky message, something along the lines of "Welcome to Denmark, eh?" This wasn't an act of aggression, it was a playful claim, a light-hearted assertion of sovereignty. Little did he know, he had just thrown down the gauntlet, a boozy gauntlet, to the Canadians. Canada's response? Swift, decisive, and utterly, wonderfully Canadian. When a Canadian military patrol later arrived on the island, they discovered the Danish flag and the schnapps. Their countermove was a masterclass in polite defiance. They swapped out the Danish flag for the iconic maple leaf, a symbol of Canada's own claim. And what did they leave behind? Not a stern warning, not a declaration of war, but a bottle of exquisite Canadian whiskey, typically a bottle of Crown Royal, Canada's signature blend. Accompanying the whiskey was their own witty note, something that likely conveyed a similar sentiment. "Welcome to Canada, sorry about your schnapps, eh?" And thus the Whiskey War, or sometimes, the Liquor War, was born, sparking a friendly exchange that would last an astonishing 38 years. Each country continued to outdo the other with better liquor and increasingly charming messages. Denmark might bring a bottle of aquavit, their traditional spirit. Canada would retort with an even finer Crown Royal. Later, Denmark upped the ante, bringing premium cognac or even a special edition of their national drink. The visits became a bizarre, endearing ritual, a perfectly timed dance of flag-swapping and alcoholic offerings. What's truly fascinating is that despite this ongoing decades-long dispute over sovereign territory, there were absolutely no serious issues or conflicts. No shots fired, no harsh words exchanged, just good-natured fun, mutual respect, and a continuous supply of high-quality spirits for the next patrol to enjoy. It was a unique form of international dialogue, proving that diplomacy doesn't always have to be stuffy and rigid. Sometimes, it can be a delightful game of one-upmanship with booze. This all came to a peaceful and frankly, very Canadian end in June 2022. After years of negotiation, probably over several more bottles of excellent liquor, both countries officially agreed to divide Hans Island right down the middle, creating the first land border between Canada and Greenland, and thus Denmark. It was a historic agreement, a testament to resolving disputes through diplomacy, not aggression. And in a beautiful poetic nod to their friendly rivalry, the treaty they signed reportedly included a symbolic gesture, setting up a shared liquor cabinet on the island itself. It's the perfect ending to a perfectly absurd conflict, a permanent reminder of how two nations chose collaboration and camaraderie over confrontation. What we can learn from this story is profound. Even in seemingly intractable international matters, it's entirely possible to handle disagreements with humor, respect, and without causing harm. This odd case of alcohol diplomacy showed the world that a shared laugh, a good drink, and a spirit of playful competition can achieve more than saber-rattling ever could. If you're ever on an Arctic cruise, you might pass by Hans Island, the silent rocky center of this peculiar tale. However, don't hold your breath for finding any free whiskey or schnapps. The tradition might continue, but catching it in action is a rare opportunity, a fleeting glimpse into a truly unique chapter of international relations. It's a shining example of how Canada, with its inherent politeness and wit, can turn even a territorial dispute into a charming, memorable anecdote. If you thought Canada's approach to war was unconventional, wait until you hear how they're tackling crime. Forget stern warnings and handcuffs. Canada's policing strategy involves something far more delightful. You'll never guess what they're handing out to law-abiding citizens, and it's making the streets safer, one good deed at a time. Number 9. Canada's genius method to combat crime, the Good Behavior Gold Star. Alright folks, if you've ever recalled the delightful ego-boosting sensation of receiving a gold star from your kindergarten teacher for being well-behaved, for coloring inside the lines, or for simply sharing your crayons, then prepare to have your mind blown. Because Canada, in a move that's as uniquely Canadian as it is astonishingly innovative, has found a way to implement this very concept in its law enforcement. Forget the typical image of stern officers, blaring sirens, and intimidating citations for minor infractions. In Canada, police officers are now giving out positive tickets to individuals who are caught doing good deeds, rather than breaking laws. This isn't a joke, it's a brilliant, refreshing, and highly effective policing strategy that truly flips the script on traditional crime prevention. This strategy is quite literally the opposite of the typical punitive approach. Instead of expecting a citation for jaywalking, littering, or other misdemeanors, you're more likely to be rewarded. Imagine this: a police officer spots you lending a hand to an elderly person struggling with groceries, or helping someone change a flat tire. Instead of a traffic ticket, you get a movie pass. Or perhaps a student consistently maintains perfect attendance at school, or volunteers in their community. They might receive a pizza coupon, a gift certificate for a local bookstore, or even a free entry to a community event. It's positive reinforcement taken to the societal level, a public pat on the back that says, "Hey, we see you doing good, and we appreciate it." The impact of this seemingly simple approach has been nothing short of remarkable. In Richmond, British Columbia, for example, the implementation of this positive ticketing program has been directly linked to a notable decrease in youth crime by approximately 50%. This striking statistic illustrates a profound truth: acknowledging and rewarding good behavior can be significantly more impactful and sustainable than solely focusing on punishing the bad. It's a testament to the psychological principle that positive reinforcement encourages the formation of better habits and fosters a sense of community responsibility, far more effectively than punishment alone, which often only breeds resentment or fear. It encourages active participation in maintaining public order, transforming citizens from passive subjects of law enforcement into active partners in creating a safer, more harmonious society. This method has proven so successful that it has become a hallmark of Canadian policing, setting them apart from other countries that may be more entrenched in a punitive, tough-on-crime philosophy. While many nations focus on deterrence through fear and punishment, Canada is pioneering a model that builds trust, fosters goodwill, and genuinely encourages civic engagement. It's a strategy that resonates deeply with Canada's broader cultural emphasis on community, politeness, and mutual respect. The police aren't just enforcers of laws, they're facilitators of good, community builders who actively seek out opportunities to strengthen social bonds. The positive tickets themselves are a testament to Canada's friendly and courteous nature. They typically come in cheerful colors, often adorned with uplifting messages or even cartoon images, a stark and welcome change from the standard, stern, and intimidating look of typical law enforcement paperwork. This thoughtful design reinforces the positive message and makes the experience memorable and pleasant for the recipient. This initiative not only aims to reduce crime rates and foster better behavior, but also to build a stronger and more supportive community by highlighting and celebrating the countless acts of kindness that occur daily. It's a refreshing approach that emphasizes the importance of positive interactions between citizens and law enforcement, and actively reinforces good deeds as the cornerstone of a healthy society. It challenges the traditional adversarial relationship, replacing it with one of partnership and encouragement. This unique method of maintaining order is a reflection of Canada's broader cultural emphasis on community, kindness, and proactive problem-solving. It's an interesting contrast to other countries' law enforcement strategies, and it's definitely something worth considering in our collective quest to make the world a better, more harmonious place. It proves that sometimes, the simplest, kindest solutions are the most effective. Speaking of quirky and unexpected, prepare to have your mind blown when you hear about Canada's next, incredibly optimistic, architectural marvel. Because apparently, they're not just welcoming immigrants, they're ready for visitors from a galaxy far, far away. Get ready for a cosmic invitation that's literally out of this world. Number 8. Canada built a landing pad for aliens. Seriously, an actual UFO landing pad. Alright, settle in, all you conspiracy theorists, sci-fi fanatics, and anyone who's ever gazed at the night sky and wondered, are we alone? Because Canada, in a move that's so endearing, so optimistic, and so utterly bizarre, it defies logical explanation, decided to roll out the welcome mat for our extraterrestrial friends. Imagine it's the year 1967, the Cold War is raging, space exploration is all the buzz, and humanity is nervously pondering its place in the cosmos. While other nations were busy building missile silos and spy satellites, a small, unassuming Canadian town named St. Paul, Alberta, decided to extend an interplanetary handshake by constructing something rather extraordinary, a UFO landing pad. Yes, an actual bona fide purpose-built landing pad for unidentified flying objects. Because if aliens were going to visit, Canada wanted to make sure they had a nice, clear spot to park their interstellar ride. This wasn't just some hastily drawn chalk circle in a field. Oh no. This was a serious, civic-minded endeavor. The landing pad itself is a monumental 130-ton concrete masterpiece, meticulously shaped like a flying saucer, complete with a time capsule embedded within its structure. The time capsule holds various artifacts and messages, essentially a cosmic welcome to Earth. Packet for any intergalactic travelers. It also contains welcoming messages in dozens of different languages, ensuring that no matter where our extraterrestrial pals hailed from, they'd feel instantly at home. The sheer thoughtfulness of it all is peak Canadian. They're not just ready for visitors, they're ready to be good hosts. The mayor at the time, a man named Jules Canel, was clearly a visionary. He famously declared, with a twinkle in his eye and a spirit of unwavering optimism, that if aliens couldn't figure out where to land, it certainly wouldn't be St. Paul's fault. The town went all in, not just building this cosmic welcome mat, but also establishing a dedicated UFO museum right next door. This museum was designed to showcase any potential sightings, gather evidence, and generally serve as a hub for all things extraterrestrial. It's like saying, you're not just welcome here, we've got the historical records, the witness testimonies, and the proof to back up your visit. We believe. It transforms mere curiosity into a full-blown civic commitment. Fast forward to today, 57 years later, and despite the immaculate upkeep and the open invitation, no spaceship has officially RSVP'd. No little green or gray or purple men have stepped out onto the concrete saucer, bags in hand, looking for directions to the nearest Tim Hortons. But St. Paul hasn't lost hope, not one bit. Every single year without fail, they give the landing pad a good sprucing up, a fresh coat of paint, or rather concrete sealant, and ensure it's in pristine condition, just in case today's the day. The local cafe is always ready for a chat about those unexplained lights in the sky or peculiar crop circles, over a freshly brewed cup of joe. It's like they're saying, the door's open, the lights are on, the coffee's brewing, come on in. We've been expecting you. What's the takeaway here? It's more than just a quirky tourist attraction, though it certainly is that. It's a charming, earnest, and deeply reflective symbol of Canada's open arms approach to the unknown. While other nations might be busy building secret bunkers, developing anti-alien defenses, or debating the existence of extraterrestrial life with skepticism, Canada's got a clearly designated space for them to simply drop by. It's a quirky yet profound gesture that encapsulates the nation's readiness for whatever the cosmos might throw at them, a testament to their inherent friendliness and willingness to embrace the unconventional. And let's not forget the UFO Museum. Talk about rolling out the red carpet for potential extraterrestrial visitors. It's an act of faith, a beacon of hope, and a monument to Canadian hospitality that truly reaches for the stars. Who knows, maybe one day, St. Paul will be known as the first point of intergalactic contact, all thanks to a small town with a big imagination. And if you thought building a UFO landing pad was wild, wait until you learn about Canada's most beloved resident. Because Santa Claus? Turns out, he's not just visiting Canada. He's practically a card-carrying, maple syrup-loving Canadian citizen, with his own postal code and a team of government-sanctioned elves. Prepare for a festive bombshell that will redefine your Christmas spirit. Number 7. Canada's best-kept secret. Santa Claus is Canadian. Yes, officially Canadian. Alright, settle in, because it's time to shatter some widely held illusions and set the record straight. Santa Claus is not just hanging out in Canada's backyard, occasionally popping down for a Tim Hortons coffee. Oh no. The jolly man in red, the purveyor of presents, the ho-ho-ho-ng icon of Christmas cheer, is actually a bona fide, passport-holding, maple syrup-loving Canadian citizen. This isn't just a festive rumor whispered amongst elves, it's official, government-sanctioned, parliamentary-approved truth. In February 2008, in a move that solidified Canada's claim to the North Pole and added a delightful layer of whimsy to international law, the then Canadian Minister of Citizenship went ahead and personally stamped Santa's passport, making him a legitimate, card-carrying citizen of Canada. Take that, Finland. Take that, Greenland. Canada firmly asserts its claim to the undisputed home of Christmas magic. When you really stop to consider it, the signs are pretty clear, almost ridiculously obvious. That distinctive outfit of his, the vibrant red, trimmed with crisp white fur, it's practically the Canadian flag in human, jolly form. It's less a fashion statement and more a patriotic uniform. Then there's his primary residence, the North Pole. And where exactly is the North Pole geographically located? Right smack dab within Canada's Arctic region, solidifying its status as Canadian territory. It's not just a cozy home, it's a strategic assertion of sovereignty. And let's not forget his famous booming laugh, the iconic ho ho ho. This laugh, dear friends, has been given its very own incredibly Canadian postal code, H0H0H0. Yes, that literally spells ho ho ho. It's not just a cute marketing gimmick, it's a testament to the level of official embrace and integration of Santa into the Canadian national identity. It's the ultimate recognition of his residency. But the delightful absurdity doesn't stop there. Every single Christmas season, Canada's Postal Service, a paragon of efficiency and holiday spirit, joins wholeheartedly in the magic. Postal workers across Canada transform into temporary elves, donning their most festive cheer and dedicating countless hours to helping Santa answer over 1 million letters from children globally. We're talking letters from every corner of the planet, in over 30 different languages, and yes, even including Braille. Why? Because Canada values inclusivity all year round, even on Christmas. Every child's wish, every carefully crafted letter, receives a personalized response, all signed Santa Claus, North Pole, H0H0H0. It's a massive heartwarming logistical operation that underscores Canada's commitment to spreading joy and fulfilling childhood dreams on an unprecedented scale. No other country has such a deeply integrated government-supported Santa operation. What's more, the Canadian government goes the extra mile by actively tracking Santa's Christmas Eve journey, much like you would track a food delivery or a parcel. NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense Command, a joint Canada-US organization, takes on the annual task of tracking Santa's sleigh, but Canada plays a pivotal role in this beloved tradition, ensuring that millions of children and adults around the world can follow his progress in real time. It's like they've turned the North Pole into a thriving Canadian territory and made spreading holiday cheer a national priority. This isn't just a feel-good story, it's a unique blend of myth, governmental procedures, and a healthy dose of Canada's famous friendliness. While other countries might get caught up in political debates about borders and sovereignty, Canada has embraced a more festive, unifying approach, claiming Santa not just as a figurehead, but as one of their own. They've managed to seamlessly blend ancient lore with modern governmental procedures and a touch of their renowned politeness, creating a Christmas miracle wrapped in a Canadian policy, complete with a bow and drizzled with maple syrup. It's a powerful statement: Santa is Canadian, and Canada is Christmas. But if you thought Santa's Canadian citizenship was mind-bending, prepare for a scientific anomaly that will literally make you feel lighter. Because next, we're heading to a place in Canada where gravity itself is playing a cosmic prank, and you can shed some pounds without ever stepping on a treadmill. Get ready for a gravitational glitch that defies explanation and invites a very unique kind of travel experience. Number 6. Canada's gravity glitch: lose weight without dieting. Sort of, it's complicated. Alright, buckle up, because if you thought Santa being Canadian was the peak of unexpected weirdness, prepare for a scientific anomaly that will literally make you feel lighter on your feet. Imagine this: you're strolling through Canada's vast, rugged Hudson Bay area, perhaps admiring the tundra, and somehow, inexplicably, you've gotten lighter without even trying. Not just water weight, not just muscle loss from an intense poutine diet, but actual verifiable weight loss due to gravity. This is one of Earth's truly oddball science facts that makes you go, wait, what? Is this a magic trick, or just Canada being Canada again? This fascinating phenomenon all goes back to the last ice age, an epic geological saga that ended roughly 10,000 years ago. During this period, a colossal glacier, a mind-boggling 3 kilometers, nearly 2 miles thick, pressed down on the region of Hudson Bay with unimaginable force. Think of it as a cosmic bowling ball sitting on a giant marshmallow for thousands of years. This immense weight literally flattened the Earth's crust in that area, pushing the land down deep into the planet's mantle. After the glacier finally melted, a process that took millennia, the land began to slowly, ever so slowly rebound, like the marshmallow trying to puff back up. However, it hasn't fully sprung back up to its original position. This ongoing post-glacial rebound has created a slight, but measurable, anomaly in Earth's gravitational field. Essentially, there's less mass beneath the surface in that particular region, resulting in what scientists affectionately call a gravity hole. What does this mean for you, the intrepid traveler? It means that if you were to stand in this precise spot, you would weigh approximately 0.004% less than you would if you were, say, chilling in Times Square. Now, before you start planning your next weight loss vacation to Hudson Bay, let's manage expectations. We're not talking about a dramatic, I can now float, kind of weight loss. For an average adult, 0.004% is like shedding the weight of a few paper clips, or maybe a very, very light feather. You won't be defying gravity or jumping around like you're on the moon, unless you packed a trampoline. However, this tiny gravitational dip is significant enough to actually mess with incredibly precise instruments. GPS systems can get a bit wonky here, as can highly sensitive scientific compasses. They get a little confused, a little disoriented, like trying to navigate a dense fog with a faulty map. Scientists, predictably, find it absolutely fascinating. It's like a massive natural science experiment where Earth is still visibly dealing with the aftermath of a major, ancient freeze, a slow-motion geological drama unfolding over millennia. What's even cooler is that you can actually visit this place without needing a lab coat, a PhD in geophysics, or a highly specialized scientific expedition. Just drive down Highway 17 along the bay's coast, and boom, you're in the heart of this gravity dip. You won't find a flashy sign proclaiming "Welcome to the low-gravity zone, enjoy your instant diet." Though maybe they should consider it for tourism. But rest assured, you are definitely, scientifically, infinitesimally lighter than usual. Researchers use this unique spot to study Earth's ongoing recovery from those icy times, observing how our planet's crust moves in incredibly slow, almost imperceptible bouncy motions as it continues its glacial rebound. It's a living laboratory, revealing the dynamic processes that constantly shape our planet. So next time you're feeling a little heavy, a little weighed down by the world, just remember, you could be lighter if you were standing in the right place in Canada. It's a testament to the subtle yet profound ways that geology and history continue to influence our present reality. It's a reminder that even the invisible forces around us, like gravity, can have their own fascinating quirks, especially in a country as naturally unique as Canada. It's a truly humbling experience to stand on a place where the echoes of ancient ice sheets still subtly tug at your very being, a gentle reminder of Earth's immense power and its slow, steady dance of transformation. And speaking of things that are uniquely Canadian, forget your Michelin star restaurants and fancy dining experiences. Because next, we're diving into Canada's culinary quirks, where convenience meets comfort in the most deliciously baffling ways. Prepare your taste buds for a truly odd and utterly beloved combination that defines a nation's palate, the legendary double-double and a certain cheesy, boxed macaroni. You'll never look at comfort food the same way again. Number 5. Canada's odd cuisine, the ultimate comfort food combo. It's not what you think. Imagine the scene. It's a typical Canadian winter day. The wind outside is howling like a disgruntled banshee, pushing temperatures down to a mind-numbing -30 degrees Celsius. A Winnipeg construction worker, tough as nails and bundled like an Arctic explorer, is taking a well-deserved break. In one hand, he's cradling a hot cup of coffee, but not just any coffee. This brew is fortified with a generous creamy dollop of well cream. In the other hand, he's holding a bowl, steaming warmly, filled to the brim with vivid, almost fluorescent orange boxed mac and cheese. This isn't merely a meal, it's a sacred ritual, a survival mechanism, and a profound reflection of Canada's utterly complex, yet universally beloved, food identity. Canadians, you see, have a deeply distinctive, almost philosophical, approach to coffee. For them, a basic drip brew isn't just a caffeine delivery system, it's a canvas for creation. They transform it into a rich, creamy beverage that, if you close your eyes, might resemble a warm milkshake with a serious kick of caffeine. The ubiquitous double-double order, which for the uninitiated, translates to 2 creams and 2 sugars, isn't just a mere preference at Tim Hortons. It's a national declaration, a way to combat the endless, soul-chilling winter months. It's a liquid hug, a sweet, warm shield against the relentless cold, designed to make you feel cozy from your frozen fingertips to your numb toes. It's less about the nuanced notes of the bean and more about the immediate, comforting embrace of warmth and sweetness. Now let's talk about the other half of this iconic Canadian duo, Kraft Dinner, or KD as Canadians affectionately, almost reverently refer to it. This cheesy boxed macaroni is not just a meal, it's an institution. It's so deeply ingrained in the nation's cultural fabric that it's practically a comfort food deity. Consider this mind-boggling statistic. Canadians eat enough KD each year to theoretically encircle the globe if all those noodles were meticulously laid out in a cheesy orange necklace. Think about the commitment. It's a staple in every college dorm room, a go-to for busy parents, and often enjoyed at unconventional hours, like 2 a.m., directly from the cooking pot. Because who needs plates when you have existential hunger and a pot of cheesy goodness? It's quick, it's easy, and it provides an almost primal comfort. What is it about this seemingly odd pairing, the creamy coffee and the vibrant KD, that makes it so characteristically and undeniably Canadian? It's the ingenious blend of practicality, nostalgia, and pure, unadulterated comfort. The coffee provides that essential warmth, a vital internal heater against the external chill. The KD, with its carbs and cheesy embrace, fills you up, providing instant energy and a sense of satisfying fullness. Together, they create a cozy bastion against the rigors of living in a place where winter isn't just a season. It's an extreme sport that demands constant caloric fortification. It's the taste of resilience, the flavor of enduring harsh elements with a contented smile. It's the culinary equivalent of a warm blanket and a roaring fire, but in edible form. This unique culinary habit isn't just about taste, it's about survival, about making the best of a long cold season, and finding joy in the simple, accessible pleasures. It's a testament to the Canadian spirit, resourceful, humble, and always ready for a comforting bite. By the way, Canada has some other unique survival food habits, though not edible ones, like a town that leaves car doors unlocked for polar bear emergencies, proving their resourcefulness extends beyond the kitchen. This combo is more than just food, it's a cultural shorthand, a symbol of national identity, understood and cherished from coast to coast. So next time you're in Canada, don't just order a coffee, ask for a double-double, grab a box of KD, and experience true Canadian comfort. And if you thought Canada's food quirks were wild, wait until you hear about their border. Forget walls and armed guards. Canada shares a boundary that's so chill, so incredibly unique, you can literally read a book with one foot in two countries. This next fact will redefine your concept of international relations and make you wonder why every border isn't this relaxed. Number 4. World's longest demilitarized zone, the border of epic chill, no walls, just moose. Alright, prepare to have your mind absolutely blown by the world's longest, chillest, and most unbelievably peaceful border on Earth. We're talking about the colossal sprawling 8,891 kilometer, that's 5,525 miles for our American friends, making it the longest international border in the world line that divides the United States and Canada. Forget everything you thought you knew about international boundaries, the imposing walls, the barbed wire, the intimidating arrays of armed guards, the endless checkpoints, the palpable tension that often defines borders around the globe. None of that here. The Canada-US border is, quite simply, a marvel of peaceful coexistence, a testament to what two friendly nations can achieve when they decide to just get along. Instead of formidable barriers, you'll find mostly natural landscapes, serene forests, rolling prairies, majestic mountains, and shimmering lakes. It's a place where the occasional moose might casually stroll from one country to the next, perhaps pausing to wonder why it suddenly feels so polite on one side. This isn't a militarized zone, it's a demilitarized zone. There are no heavy fortifications, no menacing troop deployments, no complex defense systems poised for conflict. It's primarily managed by a small number of border agents focused on regulating trade and legal crossings, not warding off invasions. This mutual trust and lack of aggressive posturing is unique on such a massive scale, especially between two such powerful nations. And get this, for a truly mind-bending example of this cross-border camaraderie, there's a place called the Haskell Free Library and Opera House. This extraordinary building is literally constructed right on the border between Stansted, Quebec, and Derby Line, Vermont. Imagine walking through a library, picking up a book, and then realizing that you started reading it in the US and are now taking it out from the Canadian side. The stage of the Opera House is in Canada, while most of the seats are in the US. Visitors are encouraged to enter through one country and exit through the other, a delightful symbolic dance across national lines, reinforcing the incredible fluidity and friendship of this border. It's a beautiful, concrete example of international friendship, cooperation, and a shared love for literacy and the arts. It makes you wonder why every border isn't this chill, or at least, why they don't all have a library you can wander through between countries. This incredible peace isn't just a happy accident, it's the result of centuries of deliberate cooperative diplomacy. Remember that delightfully absurd whiskey war we talked about earlier? Canada and Denmark literally fought over a tiny Arctic rock using bottles of booze, then decided to amicably share it. That spirit of friendly resolution, of choosing collaboration over confrontation, is deeply embedded in Canada's approach to international relations, and it's perfectly reflected in its shared boundary with its southern neighbor. It's a shining example of how disagreements, even territorial ones, can be handled with humor, respect, and a distinct lack of hostility. The sheer normalcy of crossing this border often surprises visitors from other parts of the world. While there are checkpoints, they are generally efficient and courteous, a reflection of the mutual respect between the two nations. The border regions are vibrant with cross-border communities, shared economies, and intertwined cultures. Families live on one side and work on the other, friends meet up for coffee across the line. This longest demilitarized zone is not just a geographical line, it's a blueprint for how countries should get along, a testament to the power of trust, diplomacy, and perhaps, a shared love for hockey and good-natured banter. It stands as a beacon of international cooperation, proving that true security isn't always found in walls and weapons, but often in mutual understanding and an unwavering commitment to peace. It's a truly defining feature of Canada, highlighting its unique role as a peacekeeper on the global stage, starting right at its own front door. Speaking of something incredibly Canadian, if you thought their border was unique, wait until you get a load of their cash. Forget flimsy paper that disintegrates in the wash. Canada's money is so indestructible, you could literally run it through a washing machine and it would come out ready to spend. Plus, they have a coin so big, it's practically a tourist attraction. Get ready to feel inadequate about your crumpled bills. Number 3. Canada's polymer currency, money that laughs in the face of laundry, and other disasters. Alright, prepare to feel utterly inadequate about the flimsy, easily damaged paper money currently residing in your wallet, Because Canada's cash isn't just currency, it's a tiny, flexible, seemingly indestructible superhero. Unlike many other countries that are still clinging to archaic, tear-prone paper bills, Canadians have been proudly flaunting bills made of polymer since 2011. And for the uninitiated, polymer is essentially fancy talk for really durable plastic. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a revolutionary leap forward in the world of money, making Canadian bills practically impervious to the trials and tribulations of daily life. What does this mean for the average Canadian? It means their money is pretty much indestructible. Forget the agony of pulling a perfectly good banknote out of your pocket after a wash cycle, only to find it's dissolved into a pulpy, worthless mess. Canadian polymer bills won't tear apart in your overstuffed wallet. They won't get soggy and turn into a sad, deflated blob if you get caught in one of Canada's infamous downpours or unexpected blizzards. And crucially, they laugh in the face of your washing machine. Accidentally leave a crisp $20 bill in your jeans before laundry day? No problem. It will emerge from the spin cycle looking as pristine, uncreased, and ready to spend as the day it was printed. It's a minor convenience perhaps, but one that evokes a deep sense of relief and a quiet satisfaction unique to Canadians. This durability also means they last significantly longer than paper bills, reducing production costs and environmental impact over time. But the coolness of Canadian currency doesn't stop at its laundry-proof properties. Oh no. Prepare for a truly Canadian spectacle. In Sudbury, Ontario, they have a 13-ton nickel coin. Yes, you read that right, a coin weighing more than a school bus. It's a massive, absurdly large replica of a 1951 5-cent coin, measuring an impressive 9 meters, 30 feet, in diameter. It's so absurdly oversized, so delightfully over the top, that it puts your usual pocket change to shame and utterly dwarfs any other coin on the planet. It's less a piece of currency and more a full-blown tourist attraction, a proud, shining monument to Canadian ingenuity and a quirky sense of humor. It celebrates Sudbury's mining heritage as a major nickel producer, turning a simple coin into a landmark. And then, just to prove Canada is truly in a league of its own when it comes to valuable metal, let's not forget the even more exclusive Big Maple Leaf gold coin. This isn't just any gold coin, it's a behemoth. In 2007, the Royal Canadian Mint produced a series of these 100 kilogram, 220 pound, 99.999% pure gold coins, each with a face value of 1 million Canadian dollars. However, their actual market value, based on gold prices, can soar into the multi-millions. One such coin, worth approximately $4.5 million USD, was famously stolen from the Bode Museum in Berlin in 2017. It's like having a coin that's basically worth a small fortune, a piece of art and a colossal investment, making it a target for the most audacious of thieves. This incident just highlighted the immense value and desirability of Canadian-minted precious metals. Canada's currency isn't just about transactions, it's about durability, innovation, and a touch of the utterly ridiculous and magnificent. From the practical, resilient polymer bills that withstand the rigors of everyday life to the colossal nickel monument and the incredibly valuable gold coins, Canadian money tells a story of a nation that values both pragmatism and a certain whimsical grandeur. It embodies a blend of modern efficiency and a subtle flex of national pride, proving that even something as mundane as currency can be a source of national identity and fascination. And if you thought Canada's money was massive, wait until you hear about their malls. Because the next stop isn't just a shopping center, it's an indoor metropolis with pirate ships, massive indoor water parks, and enough stores to make your credit card weep. Get ready for a consumer paradise that blurs the lines between retail, recreation, and pure, unadulterated escapism. Number 2. West Edmonton Mall, the ultimate shopping and amusement experience. Prepare to get lost, literally. Now on to West Edmonton Mall, and let me be crystal clear, this isn't your average run-of-the-mill shopping center where you pop in for a quick outfit refresh and maybe a pretzel. Oh no, dear friends. The West Edmonton Mall is a colossal, mind-boggling, reality-defying marvel that is more like a theme park, a city block, and a shopping destination all rolled into one gigantic, indoor, air-conditioned behemoth. For over 2 decades, it held the title of the world's largest mall, and even today, its sheer scale and audacious offerings are enough to make your jaw drop and your credit card tremble. Picture this, you're walking past a high-end fashion boutique, and then bam! Right there, in the middle of a shopping aisle, you encounter a full-sized, authentic replica of Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria pirate ship, docked in a massive artificial lake. You take another turn, perhaps looking for a bookstore, and suddenly you're staring at Galaxyland, an entire indoor amusement park complete with roller coasters that defy gravity and thrill rides that elicit screams louder than a rock concert. Keep exploring and you'll stumble upon the World Water Park, a massive indoor water park featuring an enormous wave pool, with waves up to 6 feet high, towering water slides, and even a bungee jump over the pool. And just when you think you've seen it all, there's an Olympic-sized ice rink, the Ice Palace, where you can go skating, watch hockey games, or just marvel at the sheer audacity of having a frozen lake inside a mall. And that's not even mentioning the shopping itself. The West Edmonton Mall boasts over 800 stores, ranging from high street fashion to luxury brands, electronics, home goods, and everything in between. It's basically a small town where you can buy everything you need, and a whole lot of things you didn't even know you needed. But it's not just retail therapy, it's a complete entertainment ecosystem. Beyond the rides and slides, there's also a mini golf course, a bowling alley, a movie theater with 13 screens, an indoor shooting range, an enormous petting zoo, and even a replica of Bourbon Street in New Orleans, complete with themed restaurants and live entertainment. It's so vast, so diverse in its offerings, that it's entirely possible to get lost for days and still discover something new. Tourists literally plan entire vacations around visiting this mall, treating it as a destination unto itself. For you, the intrepid shopper or thrill seeker, a key piece of advice. While the sea lion shows, yes, they used to have sea lions in a dedicated lagoon, because why not? Might have been the only thing that won't cost you a dime. The rest of the place is so incredibly tempting, so effortlessly engaging, that it's perilously easy to overspend. Your budget, your willpower, and your sense of direction will all be severely tested. Who needs the hustle and bustle of Times Square, the chaotic charm of Shibuya Crossing, or the historic grandeur of the Champs-Élysées when you can ride a roller coaster, swim in a wave pool, and then buy a new pair of jeans, all under one gloriously climate-controlled roof? The West Edmonton Mall isn't just a shopping destination, it's a testament to Canadian ambition, a monument to the joy of excess, and a masterclass in blurring the lines between commerce and entertainment. It perfectly embodies a certain Canadian spirit of, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it really, really big. It's a place where the unexpected becomes the norm, and where a casual day of shopping can easily transform into an epic adventure. It's more than a mall, it's an entire universe of experience, proving that sometimes, the most exciting travel destinations are found not in ancient ruins or natural wonders, but in the most audacious feats of modern architecture and imagination. So go ahead, get lost in the West Edmonton Mall. You won't regret it. Probably. And finally, for our grand finale, we're talking about a Canadian invention that literally changed the world of sports. Forget maple syrup, polite apologies, or even polar bear encounters. This next fact will have you lacing up your shoes, hitting the court, and realizing that one of the planet's most popular games exists because of a very, very cold Canadian winter. Number 1. Sports legacy. Canada gave us basketball. And they still dominate the ice. Alright, sports fans, history buffs, and anyone who's ever tossed a ball through a hoop, prepare for a truth bomb that will utterly reshape your perception of Canada's global influence. Picture this, it's the late 19th century, a time before Netflix, before video games, before even reliable indoor plumbing. We're in a chilly YMCA gym in Springfield, Massachusetts, but the hero of our story is a Canadian physical education teacher named James Naismith. It's winter, and his energetic students are restless, bored with the repetitive, uninspiring calisthenics of the day. Naismith, seeking a way to keep them engaged and active during the harsh New England, and by extension, very Canadian-like winter months, inadvertently invents what is now the second most popular sport worldwide. That's right, folks. Basketball was basically an accidental invention because Canadians, or a Canadian-born ingenuity, needed something to do when it was too cold for outdoor sports. The original game involved peach baskets, a soccer ball, and a set of 13 rules Naismith scribbled on a piece of paper. From such humble, cold-weather beginnings, a global phenomenon was born. It's a true testament to the ingenuity born from necessity, proving that even the most brutal winters can spark revolutionary ideas. Now, let's fast forward to the present day. While they gave the world basketball, Canada still has an undisputed, almost primal knack for one sport above all others: ice hockey. It's not just a game, it's a religion, a national obsession, a source of profound cultural identity. Canada has dominated the international hockey scene for decades, boasting over 24 men's world championship wins and numerous Olympic gold medals. It's so deeply ingrained in the national psyche that kids often learn to skate earlier than they learn to read the word offsides. From frozen backyard rinks to gleaming professional arenas, the game is everywhere. Entire communities literally come to a halt during the NHL playoffs, glued to their screens, hanging on every pass, every shot, every save. The roar of the crowd, the crisp crack of a puck hitting the boards, the intense physical ballet on ice, it's like a second national anthem to millions. It's a visceral, emotional connection to the game that permeates every aspect of Canadian life. But when summer rolls around and the ice melts, do Canadians just retire to their cottages and sip maple syrup? Absolutely not. They switch gears to lacrosse, an ancient Indigenous game that has been embraced as Canada's official summer sport. It's like a high-speed, less cold, more chaotic version of hockey, played with sticks and a rubber ball, involving a lot more running and athleticism. Lacrosse, with its deep roots in Indigenous culture, brings a different kind of energy, showcasing Canada's diverse sporting heritage and their passion for competitive, dynamic games that demand skill, strategy, and grit. The country excels at both box lacrosse, played indoors, and field lacrosse, often dominating international tournaments. The interesting twist in this sporting narrative is the very sport Canada gave the world: basketball. While Canada reigns supreme in hockey and has a strong legacy in lacrosse, the country where basketball originated has actually gotten pretty darn good at playing it themselves. The rise of Canadian talent in the NBA, with stars like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray, and the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA championship in 2019, has shown that their athletic prowess extends far beyond the ice. Sure, the NBA might always be eyeing warmer climates for new teams, but in Canada, kids are out there on homemade ice rinks, perfecting slick moves that would make even the most graceful figure skaters jealous, while simultaneously honing their jump shots on outdoor courts in the brief summer months. If you're ever in Canada, make sure to watch a hockey game, particularly in Montreal with the legendary Canadiens. It's an electrifying, almost spiritual experience unlike anything else. And if you're in Toronto, don't miss the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, located there for a reason, where you can see the original rules Naismith scribbled on a peach basket. It's a tangible link to the genesis of a global sport. Just remember not to bring up the fact that the Raptors are currently the only Canadian NBA team. While they are beloved, it's a touchy subject for many Canadians who long for more representation in the league. It's a testament to Canada's diverse sporting soul, a nation that invents a global game, dominates another, and still has room in its heart for historical traditions and rising new talents. And there you have it, folks. 15 mind-blowing facts about Canada, a country that effortlessly blends the quirky with the magnificent, the polite with the utterly surprising, and the utterly charming with the fiercely determined. From accidentally naming itself village to building UFO landing pads, from guarding secret maple syrup reserves with armed guards to inventing basketball because it was simply too cold outside, Canada truly is the most unique, delightful, and endlessly fascinating country in North America. If you loved this whirlwind tour as much as we loved putting it together, do us a solid, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support fuels these deep dives, helps us bring you more wild and wonderful insights, and keeps the Canadian content flowing. And before you jet off on your next adventure, virtual or real, check out the video on your screen right now. We guarantee it's another experience waiting to happen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.